Everyone, Paulo P13 here, and welcome to today's video. I know I really recently promised that I was going to do a bunch of just fun videos to celebrate the fact I recently unlocked my 100th character. I'm still doing those, it's just taking a little bit longer because I'm having to do a lot of the work on borrowed computers, but I promise you those are coming out as soon as possible. So I'm going to be making some other videos in the meantime, so they're going to kind of come in alternating or similar to that, at least just off and on. But today's video, it's not going to just be a fun video for that. Today's video is going to be a bit more of a discussion about something. Today's video, I'm talking all about the recent surge of misranking characters upon release. What do I mean by this? Well, recently tons and tons of characters have been coming out, obviously, and most of them, the moment they come out, everyone just is saying, wow, this character's horrible, this character's horrible, this character's horrible. They're all horrible, every character is horrible for the longest time, and then eventually someone comes back and we'll be like, wait a second, this character's great, but it takes a long time to get there. Well, let's start talking about what's going on here. First, I'm going to give you some examples. As you can see, my Rhino is ready to go for Character 101. That's also coming really soon. Or maybe before this. We'll see what happens. Anyways, for the longest time, there's been characters that have come out and people are like, wow, this character's going to be great, or this character's going to be horrible. And then them not being entirely right. Let's go to a character who, before release, everyone thought was told was going to be amazing. Then at release, everyone thought was horrendous. And now, everyone thinks is a pretty usable character with some good use and surprisingly underrated. And that character I'm just going to go with really quick is Ant-Man. Why is that? Well, the reason Ant-Man is a little bit different. No one thought Ant-Man was going to be going out there dealing massive damage, but people thought some of his abilities were his abilities are nice. He actually has a really nice kit, low on the damage, but someone thought his abilities timing would be a little different. So if his timing was a little different, he was a little faster, he would be an incredible character for the meta that was at the time. But then on release, realized the character wasn't the same speed that was believed. So then he felt disappointing because he didn't really single-handedly win anything, and his damage is low. Ant-Man's damage is very low. But now upon more characters coming to the game, time going on, people having their Ant-Mans, probably a lot of people have 7-star Ant-Mans like I do just because of the Blitz store and Blitz Orbs, realized, you know what, he's actually not that bad of a character, and he has a lot of good uses. He can be an interesting character to throw in there. In Alliance War, a lot of people have been digging through their roster and finding, you know, Ant-Man's not that bad. He's not great, but he has a good place in this game. So is Ant-Man, the ranking of Ant-Man really the issue? No, I wouldn't say it's him. But now let's carry on to another character who, when this character came out, everyone thought this character was going to be horrible. Is this, just trying to figure out, is this the actual issue? Like, would this be the same issue that I'm discussing? Miss Marvel. When Miss Marvel came out, everyone thought her character made no sense and she was going to be horrible. Like, she has a self-heal, she has a taunt, she has some damage, and she assists. It's a whole bunch of random stuff thrown together. So a lot of people thought it didn't really make sense, but slowly as she went along, the Hero Brawlers team is actually a really, really good team, a team I use every day. And she's one of the characters that's most worth getting orange ability materials into. And I think that's really something. So at first, her damage actually wasn't that great, but as she built her up, her damage is fine, and she really does help. So why is this? Well, I think early on, upon release, people weren't, after using the character for a bit, they weren't actually as, well, this character's horrible as initial. I think this one was just because the weird kit, it took a little bit to grasp how she would work until actually testing her out. So, you know, maybe that's not the issue either. But now let's get to some more recent characters, and I think this will probably be very telling of what's going on. Alright, so for this, I'm actually going to go to I'm going to go to a couple of pretty obvious characters that were really misranked upon release. Again, I'm not saying that every single person that got these characters or saw these characters were like, wow, this character's horrible. Or even like the big names and content creators were like, wow, this character's horrible. But a lot of people just generally felt this way. But War Machine, when he came out, Everyone thought War Machine was horrible. He did no damage. They thought his special was an absolute joke. The only thing that was worth him was his AoE, his ultimate, but the rest was really bad. His passive didn't make sense. But now we go further along. War Machine is an incredible damage dealer. Like, he is really, really good at what he does. But his special can devastate entire teams. His ultimate really devastates entire teams. Like, he is an incredible character. So why was he so poorly viewed? Like, all right, so let's just keep War Machine in mind, and let's go talk about a couple of other characters that came to the game. All right, so we got War Machine. Let's stick with a very similar trend here. Let's find some other power armor characters. Falcon. While Falcon wasn't originally viewed as this horrible character, a lot of people saw Falcon and like, wow, he has a good kit that can be quite useful, but his damage is horrendous. He just doesn't do any damage. So I think he kind of falls in between. I think his reasoning is very similar to War Machine, but the difference is he has a kit that you don't really need good power for him to really show some good use. Now, I'd still say Falcon's pretty squishy. I know mine's not overly built up, but just the general feel he gives. And his damage is good. It's not incredible damage, but that's really not his big thing. And it can be incredible damage depending on the situations you use it. He is a little situational from time to time, but he can be a game-changing character. And that is something I don't think people really realized when he came out. This next character, I'm not really sure this character is a fair character to put in this assessment, but Rescue. When Rescue came out, everyone thought she was horrendous. But the thing is, they were technically right. There was some mess up with her kit, and her kit made no sense. But now we've gone a little further, they fixed the kit a little bit, and now she's still okay. She's an okay character, but she has very specific use, and she can be really good on that. One thing, the barrier can feel a little underwhelming. So you take her outside of her specific situation, she's still not a great character. But, so I guess she doesn't fit. But so far we got War Machine, we've got Falcon. Falcon definitely counts, War Machine definitely counts, Rescue not so much. So that's really the power armor team, so that covers them. Now we've got some other teams. Let's just make it simpler. Let's scroll through this little beautiful thing. Alright, we know where we're going. Wakanda. This team has to be the most poorly understood team in the game right now. Everyone thinks every one of these characters is horrible. And yet, none of these characters are bad characters. Actually, they're all pretty great characters on their own on this team. They all have some pretty good uses, especially on this team in raids. Or actually, I really like this as a blitz team. But we got Black Panther. People still think he's not a great character, but he is a very, very good character. He can be game-changing. In the late Mystic campaign, a lot of people struggle. You want to make your late Mystic campaign a lot easier? Get your Black Panther up. He will do so much for you. Okoye. Now, Okoye is an interesting one. She gets a lot of assists. Her ultimate and her special are different, and that they're really nice and helpful. The main issue with Okoye is she dies quick, and her basic needs orange materials to actually dispel. Killmonger, it's like you don't feel like he's doing much, but he's always doing some damage and he's always healing himself. So Killmonger is just like a surviving little damage dealing machine, which is great. Shuri is one of the best healers in the game. Yeah, she's a legendary character, but she really makes this team have some really unique and clever uses, and I absolutely love Shuri. All of these characters were considered bad upon release, which some people like, okay, Shuri has some use, but she's a legendary, so for a legendary character, she's awful. That's my ranking on how people were viewing her. This is what was hearing from all the people. And finally, we have M'Baku. M'Baku, I have at 2 stars, and he's a tank. So you would expect that my M'Baku would just be demolished all the time. My M'Baku is really sturdy. His blocks are fantastic. The healing on himself is great. His ultimate is actually really fun to use. His basic's pretty cool when you're fighting Spider-Man and Vision. It just gives you a little bit more satisfaction, like, you dodged. Never mind, because he hits you anyways on his second. He'll just attack again to try and hit you if you dodge, which is pretty cool. But anyways, all these characters are pretty good, but they're all viewed as bad. Now, there is some more to it, like the promoting of this team. So we can talk about the promoting of the characters. Maybe that's what caused it. But I think, yes, the promotion of the characters and how they were promoted really gave a sour taste to the characters before they came out. And that's a different issue. But I will talk about that and one other reason. But first, I am going to quickly go over a couple of other characters that just came out that don't fit it quite as much, but I heard some things, not as much, from people that didn't really have them built. But this X-Men team, Phoenix just came out. Now, pretty much anyone that has Phoenix was able to realize that she was a great character, but a lot of people felt her damage was surprisingly underwhelming, which I'd say is pretty interesting. And then we had Psylocke, who I don't know if there was really much review on either way of her. They were just like, well, she has an interesting kit, she's really slow. And that's fair, but at least her damage is piercing, so that was pretty nice. Colossus. People felt Colossus was a very bad tank unless he had he had Phoenix. That's just not true. Colossus can really survive pretty well, and he can really do a lot for a lot of teams. He may not be as elite without Phoenix. Like some people say he's almost game-breaking with Phoenix. I don't see him as that insane with Phoenix. I think he's really, really good, but I think he's also good without Phoenix. So I think a bit of this will also play into the reasoning. Now, what I'm saying is there are two main causes for why these characters all have some very different reviews for when they are released and what they really are, and why so many people they see a new character and they're like, this character is horrible. Now, this is going to be the thing that everyone loves to bash on in the game. I'm not just bashing on it, but I am thinking that it has actually led to people struggling immensely on actually rating their characters. Red stars. Red stars have to be one of the most controversial things to be in this game ever. And while some people love it, some people hate it, everyone can agree it just brought a lot of chaos to this game. And some people like that. But at the end of the day, now you look at my Wolverine. It's a 7-star Wolverine with 4 red stars. Versus my 6-star Phoenix, no red stars. But let's look at this. I've got level 62, tier 10 for my Wolverine. 6663 abilities. And I've got level 64, tier 11 with my Phoenix, 6665 abilities. I have put more time in building up my Phoenix than I've put in my Wolverine. Yet my Wolverine has 5,000 more power. My Wolverine's base damage, and this is a Wolverine here, is 7,321. Versus my Phoenix's damage at 7,226. Which means, roughly speaking, let's go with this basic here. This basic is 200% damage just on Jean, like base Phoenix. Yet, the Wolverine's basic, well, I'm not saying this should be wrong, but at this point, my Wolverine's basic will do significantly more damage than my Phoenix basic. And that's to a character that's tier 11, level 64, 6 stars. So these characters, it's almost impossible to make up that difference up until you get red stars. You're ranking these characters on a whole new playing field, and this little thing makes people unable to realize the kit and the maximum potential of what these characters really can do until you get them built up. Now we've got Colossus here. Obviously, we're not going to really compare him and his damage, but he's only 2 stars. He's got 60,000 health. Tier 10, he has no red stars, but he's level 60. So, that doesn't feel that impressive, really, if you just go on base stats. I mean, after all, let's just go... Oops, that's the wrong button. We're going to pretend I didn't press that button. Let's just go find a character with red stars that's not really known for their health. Let's go Vision. Vision seems reasonable. So Vision, he's level 60, tier 10, which I believe is exactly what Colossus was, but obviously Vision has a lot more stars and has some red stars. But what do you know? The health, it's 10,000 difference. So at least Colossus has the health advantage over Vision. But let's find an actual better character for this comparison. Venom. Venom, I guess, actually does have a pretty good health pool. He is 5 stars, 4 red stars, only tier 8, level 65, and Venom has 20,000 more health. Well, why is that? Well, we see here we've got 4 red stars, that's 20% extra health. So if he's at 80,000, so you take away that extra 20% of health, that means he should be at 80% of the health that he's at, I think. Again, this is just quick math. That would put him at about 62,000 health. So you take away the red stars, and Venom's health pool instantly becomes Colossus's health pool. Even though Venom is is at 5 stars, and Colossus would be at 2 stars. So these red stars are actually giving, even like just 3 stars, 4 stars, all of these red stars are giving enough of a jump on characters that people are seeing new characters that you're probably not going to have these high red star amounts for as just inherently bad characters. And I think this has actually led to fundamental misunderstanding of characters and has actually really hurt people's growth within the game. Now there's another reason. Obviously, which character is going to have a higher damage point for me? Is my Loki going to have a higher damage point up here at 6 stars, level 70, gear tier 13, obviously the red stars as well. I would find one that's high without red stars. Let's see what my highest character without red stars is. That would help. Okay. So let's go down to no red stars. Let's see if I actually have a reasonable character I can use for that. Okay, my only... Phoenix. There we go. And actually, Phoenix is a pretty built character. But which character is going to be doing more damage? A 6-star character that's tier 10, like Phoenix, or tier 11. Phoenix is tier 11, wow. 60,000 health, 7,220 damage. That's a pretty high character, 6665 abilities. So which character is going to do more damage? A character like that that's already been built up, that you've had time to do the tiers. I know that Phoenix is a new character, but theoretically, the new characters, you won't have that chance. And now you've got a character like America Chavez. There's another new character that everyone thought was horrendous when she came out. She's actually a pretty good character. I use her every day on tier 8 of Blitz. And she makes the Hero Brawlers team destroy Defenders teams on tier 8 of Blitz. Just saying, she can be very useful when you use her right, when you learn the characters. But obviously, what's her damage going to be? She is only tier 9, level 60, 2 stars. Wow, her damage is lower. Her health is pretty good, though. She's got 61,000 health. That's about what Phoenix was. But her damage is 2,000 below. So even if her kit is great, and she has a lot of use, I know it's a pretty basic kit, sure, but there's a lot of good things about her kit, and a lot of good things about this character. But everyone's like, nah, this is not a great character. No one blitzed, no one put the effort. Was that because who the character is as a character, or because of the kit? Because in-game, she is very useful. You just have to learn about the character and take the time to build her up and understand some characters are worth building up without many stars. And because eventually you're going to get the stars on them, but their kit can actually carry them a bit. And sometimes if you're building the characters up and you realize that they're going to need time to be really, really useful, but you might as well just build them up now. Like if you get a two gold star War Machine, you should still build that character up, and eventually that character will be really useful. But now here's the way of telling the difference between that. A character like Falcon, you don't need that character to be like 7 stars. Is that going to help the character? Yes. But at 2 stars, Falcon's still getting a lot of use because his kit is what really matters. If you need that kit to be dealing damage or getting a lot of heals or taking a lot of damage, then you need to be worried about the stars a little bit more than if you just need that kit to give offense up. It doesn't really matter. You need that kit to give yourself speed bar, give yourself speed up. You don't really need a powerful, fully built up character. But anyways, so when you don't have time to build up these characters, or you don't have the capability of getting these characters to high stars, high gear, high levels, high abilities, the characters are always going to feel underwhelming, especially now with the red stars, that they get this huge base jump on top of that you just don't have the chance. The odds are very low you're going to have the same amount for that. Like my Phoenix is 0 red stars, and I've opened up probably 20 red star orbs since then. So, I haven't had good luck on that, so my Phoenix isn't going to have that massive jump like some other people's Phoenixes will, and other characters that I've had longer. Now, there are some characters I've had for a long time that I don't really have red stars for. I just got my first red stars on Minerva, for instance, and that was a nice jump, but sometimes you just, without the red stars, without the chance to have all these gold stars, people are just, it's easy to assume that a character is bad than the actual truth. So there's that, and then there's one last thing that I mentioned. Foxnext's marketing of characters. When characters first came out, they came out, you kind of figured out where they fit. So they might give you a little hints like, hey, this Brotherhood team might do well against the Shield team. Perhaps you could take a look at that. They might be pretty good at, Arena. Go take a look. Or maybe the Storm character has some use in Raid because of the way her kit works. Trust me, she's not just a bad character, she has some uses. Like, that's kind of how they sounded. And now they're like, Wakanda. Best Raid team you will ever experience. Wakanda, 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 Wakanda forever. Is this true? Is it not? It doesn't matter. You are building up so many expectations that this team is going to be the best. And no matter what, if that team is 3,000 times better than any other team, people are going to get these characters and be like, well, this feels underwhelming, because they haven't had a chance to build their characters up. They haven't had a chance to get these red stars. So no matter what, you're just putting yourself at a losing end for the feeling of good, like these characters are as good as they are. So that, and this X-Men team, a lot of people like Wolverine. Okay, we've had Wolverine forever. Now you're telling us Wolverine's going to be on a meta team in the Arena? Well, the correct answer is yes. He's currently on a meta team in Arena. People are using him. They're getting up high in the Arena. Works great. But now people are going to feel underwhelmed with other characters. Like, okay, Psylocke isn't good enough to make Wolverine usable in Arena. If you build these characters so much right from the bat, yes, you have the chance of getting people excited. Maybe more people will spend money trying to get these characters, but then they're just going to be upset once they unlock them, and they're not fully ready. So what am I saying to you guys? Just watch out for misrating characters. Take notice of what's really happening. Have patience. Take time to build up characters, because these characters are better than you think. And that can really make a difference in your roster. It can really help in alliance work and help in a lot of places. Just take a little more thought. Don't overly react when a character you just unlock isn't the best character on your roster. Anyways, I hope this was a bit of insightful thought. I know it was a bit random and chaotic, but it was just something that had been on my mind for a while, and I wanted to share with you guys. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think. You can do that in the comments, or you can actually join my Discord and we can talk about it a bit there. I have a link to my Discord server in my video description. Go check that out if you want. We can talk there. There's a few other links if you're interested in supporting this channel. The support is really a huge help, especially now. A lot of things coming hopefully soon. By hopefully soon, I mean the month of August. I am planning on getting a lot of things together to really boost this channel forward, to really make better content. But I have to wait until then, because that's when I can get my computer fixed, and that's kind of the base of everything. But anyways, if you want to support the channel, there's some really interesting ways of doing that. You can get some merchandise. You can just buy general Marvel t-shirts from a link that don't have to be my specific makes. You can get some really cool looks for pretty much any Marvel character, and that can help support the channel and get you some pretty cool stuff. There's Patreon, there's Tippy, cool stuff there if you're really interested. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and as always, I'm here to help.